Tuesday brought news of two major interviews in special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian meddling. CBS News has confirmed Mueller's team interviewed fired FBI Director James Comey in December. And we also learned the special counsel has interviewed Attorney General Jeff Sessions last week. He is the first Trump cabinet member that we know of to be questioned in this probe. President Trump said Tuesday he's not worried about what Sessions may have said.
About what the Attorney General told the special counsel?
No, I'm not at all concerned.
Did you talk to him about it?
No, I didn't, but I'm not at all concerned. Thank you all very much. No, he didn't at all. He did not. He did not even a little bit. Nope. And he's going to do a good job.
That last comment from the president was about reports that he and Sessions pressured current FBI Director Christopher Wray to fire Wray's deputy at the Bureau. Wray reportedly threatened to quit in response. Franco Ordonez joins me now from Washington. He's a White House correspondent for McClatchy DC and co-host of McClatchy's Majority Minority podcast. Welcome, Franco.
Thanks for having me.
So what can you tell us about that meeting between President Trump, Attorney General Sessions, and FBI Director Christopher Wray?
So what I can tell you is based on the reporting, Trump was applying very public pressure, and Jeff Sessions was applying more private pressure on Wray to fire or perhaps move his deputy because of this investigation. If this is true, and there has been some conflicting reports about this, obviously the White House is denying it. But if President Trump is applying this kind of pressure, that would be in a significant amount of meddling on his part. And you got to remember, obviously, and you pointed out in the intro, Trump had already fired Comey, the FBI director. He also had a role in the ousting of his NSA director, Michael Flynn. And these are all likely to be questions that are going to come up among the special counsel. So it just draws more and more attention on this issue. So this is a critical bit of news, if true.
Well, does the revelation that Robert Mueller interviewed Jeff Sessions indicate that perhaps his investigation is coming closer to ending?
I think it absolutely does. I mean, the investigation has been rising higher and higher to the top. You pointed out this is the, member of his cabinet. This is the highest ranking member of the administration to be investigated. They are now talking about bringing in Trump. Trump's lawyers are expecting that he is going to be interviewed. This shows, if that's the case, and that's likely the case, that it shows that the Mueller investigation is ratcheting up its pressure and looking more specifically at whether Trump did have a role in potentially obstructing this investigation and what's been going on.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, Democratic Senate leaders are under fire from members of their own party who are angry they agreed to pass a government funding bill without protections for DACA recipients. But you've been doing some fascinating reporting that the White House is open to expanding those protections. What does that potential agreement look like?
Yeah, I mean, what's going on is right now we have about 690,000 DACA recipients, essentially the young immigrants who are brought to the country illegally as children. And what the White House is offering, or in a tentative agreement, is to expand that group to about 1.2 million. So that would be the amount that could be protected under a deal struck with Democrats. What that means is it's a bigger population, and it's likely going to anger a lot of his supporters, his base, if they go through with this. But what the Trump administration is saying is, look, we want to address this, we want to protect these individuals, and we are willing to go higher if Democrats will allow us to ratchet up the pressure on some of these enforcement measures. So the farther the Democrats are willing to go on enforcement, the higher the Trump administration is willing to accept on the number of people that will be allowed. And if it's more than 690,000, that'd be a significant number. That being said, on the other side, a lot of the advocates want it to be even higher than that. So everybody's going to be angry, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can imagine only the elements of President Trump's base to hear that number expanded. Folks are probably going to be pretty vocal about that, I would imagine.
Oh, I talked to people yesterday who were telling me that they would be outraged if it was any if it was more than 690,000. They don't want any DACA recipients to be getting what they call amnesty.
Right.
So to double this into the million, that would that anger them.
Wow, it'll be interesting to see if the president, in fact, holds to that negotiating position. Meantime, the president is going to Davos, Switzerland on Wednesday for the World Economic Forum. What should we be looking out for from that trip?
I think what we're going to see is we're going to see the president kind of acting like a salesman. That's what economic director said today, that the president is going to go to Davos to kind of sell the United States business, say that they're open for business. A lot of people are kind of raising their eyebrows about this visit, considering the White House's Trump's protectionist, nationalistic views. Here he is going to a globalization type convention where they're going to be talking about trade deals. Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau actually used the summit to announce a new pact between 10 countries of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which Trump famously pulled out of when he became president. So it's going to be very interesting. But Gary Cohn says today, it's like, look, we are not giving up our seat at the economic table, but we want to say that we are open business, but we want fair deals, we want fair trade. But that doesn't mean we don't want to have deals.
All right, a lot to watch this week. Franco Ordonez, thanks so much, Frank.